Before you get your panties in a tangle and go, hey dude, what happened to the style list you were compiling? We're still making it. I just want to do a little aside. Some would call it a comparison, because when you look at a yin-yang, you have the white side, you have the black side. Style to me would be the white side. The way it bends and contorts and how smooth and fluid it is like water. The black side is the gnarly. It's opaque, it's stiff as a rock. It makes your butthole pucker up when you watch them skate. It feels like your stomach and your spleen are coming out of your eyeballs like when you're going down a drop on a roller coaster. I just wanted to make this comparison between the two. I think we could appreciate style more by looking at some of these super gnarly skaters, some of the craziest in the history of our culture. Bob Burnquist, aka Bob Gnar, one of the gnarliest, if not the gnarliest skater on the planet. Here's his 2001 Vert finals. Bucky was sitting in first, I was sitting on the couch, Bob was sitting in second. This run changed my life forever. Let's see it, Bob. Sorry, Bucky, but you get your ass whooped right here. Worst gear ever, maybe, with those shitty glasses he's wearing, but check out the front side air. Look at the tweak on it. And we're just getting started. The kickflip Indy. So sick, Bob. Into the 5, a.k.a. McTwist, possibly. Kickflip fakie. So gnarly on the extension. Switch air. Only Bob is doing those like that. Switch flip Indy. The way he caught that upside down on the switch flip grab and flipped it back over. Oh, my God. Still rolls it out. Still has enough speed to get back to the coping. Who is this fucking guy? He's just getting so crazy. The Indy fakie, poking it out. The switch ollie, no grab. Who is doing this? The switch backside air. Can't believe it, Bob. Huge switch rock and roll. Switch nose grind revert. Bucky's sitting there realizing he's about to lose right now because Bob is on one. The half cab front blunt, ridiculous. The way he works this coping in this run, and it seems completely off script. He totally doesn't have anything planned. The blunt fakie kickflip out. We'll let Chris Miller finish this.
Can't even stop. We have lost our mind.
Sal Masakela, not sure if he's ever skated before, but that's just to show you how gnarly Bob is. There's no one quite like Mr. Burnquist. This is a heavy Brazilian episode. I guess they're factoring a lot of gnar in that part of the world. Something about the skaters from there. Anyway, let's get into Transworld interface. His part in this is insane. This is anti-hero Bob with the tramp stamp. There's that T-Funk spot 25 years before it. He ollies into it instead of backside 180. The kickflip jar, the frontside ollie bash. This is just so insane. The cab frontside 5 to body jar. I've never seen that trick since. Who is doing that? Bob is out of his mind. Look at that Japan to fakie. It just doesn't get any gnarlier. The way he caught that kickflip and sort of sack tapped it. I don't know exactly what he was trying, but it was so sick. This rail over the channel. I don't know who's hitting that switch. It's just mind-boggling how good this guy is. The high socks, the worst dressed skater possibly in history, and yet the gnarliest. I don't know how he did that trick switch. He's one of only. There's only one Bob. Look at this switch rolling backside. Yes, backside into a vert ramp. And if you thought that was gnarly, check out the switch backside pivot, but look at him fakie roll into this. I don't know what he's on, what he's thinking here. The guy is out of his mind. The rock to fakie on the lunch table, he backs it up with the blunt to fakie. He pops all the way back into the vert ramp. Oh my God, the long way. So sick, Bob. Gotta have a little slow-mo in here because it's Bob. Look at how he catches that and he tweaks that. A lot of people can do gnarly tricks on vert. He makes it look good somehow, even though he's bending and contorting his body in weird ways to pull off maneuvers no one else will ever do. The switch flip front crook revert. Who's doing that? Maybe Colin McKay. Love Colin McKay. There's a style god. Can't believe it, Bob. That interface part is amazing. Menikmati, you should know this video. I'm sure you do. Love how Bob can fall on a small ledge trying to crook it like the rest of us. He is still human, at least when he's skating street. Look at the tweak on that. Oh my God, Bob. He has so many bangers in this part. The way he skates Marseille is insane. His nose grinds, he doesn't even pop out of him. He rolls in. The gap to lip side on the spine. How does your board not break right there, Bob? Oh my God. The switch flip on the streets, he's got it like that. Getting sick with the hippie hop at South Bank. And then the switch boneless. I think Bucky can also switch boneless, but is he spinning out of it on vert? I don't think so. Bob is one of only. The nose grind over the death box, the huge backside air. This is concrete. This is not a vert ramp. Backtail revert, switch frontside air. The guy is a fucking legend. I don't care who you are or what you think about skating. If you don't have respect for my man Bob over here, look at these goddamn tricks. You are crazy. You are literally insane if you don't think this is one of, if not the gnarliest skater ever to do it on vertical. He also skates street, the nose grind on a legitimate handrail. This is 2000. A lot of good handrails in that video, but Bob has to hit it too. The way he Chris Russelled out of that instantly. The only thing gnarlier than front blunting that ledge out of a vert ramp is possibly when he takes the front blunt to fakie somehow. I don't know how you slide it and come in on a vert ramp blind like that. Insane. Oh my God, my butthole is puckered up right now. I'm having trouble sitting in this chair. Look at the steez on the sack tap. Not necessarily gnarly, but a fun one to throw in there. Bob does have completely his own style. I think if you saw a silhouette of him, you'd instantly know it was him, just like Heath Kirchart. The back 270 backtail revert, I don't know how he rolls that out. So ridiculously sick, my man, Bob. Brazil just has this weird thing in their DNA where, and we'll talk about Pedro Barros today, and we're going to talk about Tiago too, because gnarly isn't just about hitting big rails or getting sick on transition. It's a way of approaching the skating itself. Tiago doesn't even need to hit handrails to be gnarly. Look at the tweak on that. Oh my God, that indie nose bone after the flick in was sick. This tray flip to fakie, flips all crazy and slow, doesn't need a grab. So gnarly. Orange block, Vans Park, place is sick. Don't know if it exists anymore. And then look at him attack this channel gap switch. Oh my God, he hits his truck on the way back in. Not sure if that was on purpose, but it just adds to the gnar of Mr. Burnquist. Holy shit, I'm losing myself. Of course, his in transition, Dreamland Park, gap over the ladder, lip slide in his gnarly backyard pool. Who else can even do these tricks on this spot? I don't know. It's ridiculous. And of course, he is the Mega Ramp champ. I didn't want to put too much Mega in here. I mean, he's off on his own. Danny Way brought it to the mainstream, but Bob just does things so ridiculous. The one-footed Smith grind makes it look good too. Of course, there's another, Mega Ramp part he has where he catches all those flip tricks with no grab. I just decided to use some of these insanely gnarly grinds. The switch crooked grind on the goalpost, all the way back in switch. I don't know how you do that. I don't know where you learn that. You just go for it, I guess. And then the half cab nose grind to fakie. I don't know what he's thinking. He's out of his mind. I don't know how many Red Bulls he has a day or if he even drinks caffeine, but I love the guy. The backtail from the rail to the Mega Ramp quarter pipe. So insanely gnarly. Hippie hop nose grind through the ladder. I cannot believe it. Who else is doing anything even remotely that crazy? Frankie Hill, let's get into the 90s. While Nodis Gons and a couple other people like Ray were styling out in Ban This, Mr. Frankie Hill was getting absolutely gnarly. Look at that 6 Peralta filming, the first person. His cavemans are incredible. At this time period, if you're a younger guy or maybe you didn't pay attention, all these gaps and rails are so far ahead of their time. The only person who can hold a candle up to it, look at that caveman, is Pat Duffy, who's going to end this video because he is the gnarliest. Look at how big that rail is with a kink. He still rolls it out. Ridiculous. Legitimate double set. That was a sick-looking ollie. I'd never consider him a style god, but holy shit, when we're talking gnar, it just doesn't get any gnarlier. Love the way he melons. Love the way he tweaks it out. Big-ass ollie. I mean, if someone was doing these tricks with style, it could be a video part today. Kickflip Mindy down a stair set, a little sketchy, but I loved it. And of course, the ramp to board slide, he never landed. Maybe one day Powell will release what actually happened to him on that rail. We got to get into this tropical fish part. Look at the way he grabs his Japans down giant stair sets. The melon there was so rad. The Peter Smolik tail slide 270 spot. He takes a tail slide before he even had a popsicle. Tray flip downstairs. Not sure he actually rolled that down, but for the time period, insane. We will have more bails because we're talking about gnar today. Look at that. Him hitting the Ave rail. He's so far ahead of his time right now. I think until Duffy showed up, no one could even hold a goddamn candle up to this guy. All the way over a lunch table, the nose grab, tail tap on a handrail, another huge board slide, and this one, which he doesn't quite land, is just so ridiculously insane for the time period. I can't believe it, Frankie. Arto, we're going to spend a legitimate amount of time on Arto. Arto is one of my favorites. He could easily be on the style list, and maybe he will be. Maybe we'll look at some different tricks from some of these parts. His part in Menikmati, just insane. I remember first time seeing this, the fact that he backlipped this giant handrail down in San Diego, it didn't seem real. The way he skates here in LA, Ted Barrow talked about this a little bit. The rail is just so massively insane. I can't believe he goes for a lip slide. It's do or die. It took Heath out, took his shoulder out, did not take Arto out. He rolls that out with style. It was so sick. Big switch heel flip down that double set. Even bigger switch hard flip in Paris. And of course a switch back 180 down Santa Monica triple. That front blunt was just beautiful. I wouldn't say it was gnarly. And if you don't know your history, that backsmith was groundbreaking for the time period. Sure, someone like Felipe could kickflip front blunt the 16 now. But at the time, it was jaw-dropping. That crooked grind, I think he got towed in by a car. Here he is skating the Buster Bale rail. I think it was called Lincoln. Doesn't exist anymore. Takes a front board down in a line. That was huge for the time period. And yeah, Bastian did flick into it in Saari. Long nose grind. Those benches are no joke in Barcelona. They're tall. Switch tray flip. You have to roll out perfectly or you're dead at the bottom there. Love how he pops out on the nose slide through the kink there. It was so sick. Huge blunt slide. This ledge is insane. I think McCrank has also hit it. Big crooked grind. The spot that took Duffel's face out, frontside flip over the rail. I love this line. That switch flip was done in such a powerful style. The revert around, and then he takes it to a nose blunt on a huge handrail. Could still be a nose blunt down a handrail in a video today, but this is the year 2000, yellow shirts and all, cargo pants, high-speed switch crooks, love his switch push, one of the greatest of all time, and to take a switch front board down that rail is insane. Yeah, Figgy got gnarly on that rail recently, but this is the year 2000. Love the way that nollie heel flip is caught, the way it flips, how he doesn't touch his hand, although he could have went Baker Maker. And then who else was doing switchback lips down a handrail at this time period? You can call it out in the comments. I can't think of one earlier that's that big of a handrail. And of course, flick back lip on that rail. Extremely groundbreaking. He's a young cat in this. I don't know why he's going for a nollie lip slide here on Wilshire 15. It's totally the wrong trick to try. He does it with style. And of course, everyone knows Heath lip slid it. Arto took it frontside. I think depending on which trick you learned earlier could be which one's gnarlier. For me, a lip slide would be gnarlier, but the front board is so styled out. The way his arms are waving, the way he stomps it so clean. Arto is an absolute god. Flip Saari, top 3 videos of all time without even trying. He almost died making this video part. Look at how gnarly that is. Does it get any gnarlier than getting on a stretcher after you puked feebling a handrail? Tom Penny kickflip shifty, because we have to use that if we're already editing this video. Switch flip front board on a handrail. I don't know how everyone in this video skates that blue hubba. It's insane. Backside flip down Santa Monica triple. He wasn't even trying. I love the weird colored yellow shirt. The kickflip over to nose slide. So absolutely gnarly. I wish that rail still existed so some newer guys could put a hurting on it. He destroyed this spot, though. Look how good the front board is. He just lays into it. And at this time period, a switch tray flip down a double set was balls to the fucking wall. And I love how it flipped all weird. Nollie heel down a double set. This is just groundbreaking. Transition Arto is also sick. The crail slide. That was rad. Just a switch shove it. What a weird trick choice, but it was beautiful to switch back 80 down a huge double set. Frontside heel flips are no joke, especially over the Bezos bump to bar. And this tail slide on this ledge, incredibly gnarly. It's like stucco or something. A fakie flip you should know, and if you don't, you can memorize it like I have. One of the greatest of all time. Macbo when it was still a 4. The roll away, he can't believe it. Maybe the sickest barley grind ever with the hood up. That was so rad. His homie getting nollie heel hippie hop here. That was insanely gnarly. And we're talking gnar. Love how he went through the palm tree there on the frontside flip and mirrors it with the switch frontside flip. Way before Suchu. We'll get to Suchu in a style video. Front blunt down clipper. No joke. And then this rail, Nyjah recently took it out. But at the time period, every one of these tricks is so insanely gnarly. I didn't believe when I saw the photos in Transworld and Thrasher that it was real. That back lip is just to die for. He goes back to that rail with the kink and does a tail slide fakie, kickflip back 50 on the McCrank ledge. I think McCrank grinded the ledge to the rail. Fakie tricks that should not be done on handrails that are just still to this day extremely gnarly. There he is down in Australia. Perfect frontside half cab flip. The nollie nose slide going nollie into a 15 stair. I can't believe it. And of course the way he looks back on this front board was just so sick. Switch front board down Hollywood High. Oh my God, the photo was amazing on that. Giant backside flip. Raleigh went frontside on it. And we got to check him out in Minefield. I mean, he's absolutely killing it. I think it was the 9 Club where he was talking about how he broke his face before he met his wife and had to bail on the first date. That was what broke his face right there. Insanely incredible. The guy has this mix of perfect switch tray flips, the style on it, the no push, the switch flip in to the front board and Davis. So rad. There's very few like Arto. I love how he wallied up that into the pivot fakie. Do or die kickflip into that bank. I don't know who else has skated that spot. That was ridiculous. And then fakie flips are some of the hardest flip tricks down anything lengthy. He makes that look good. He's all crooked out in the air. Getting gnarly in Oakland, backside flip over that is no joke. That bank is super rough. The Dana Point rail, one of the first to hit it. I think Raleigh lip slid it first. He front boards through all those kinks there. So rad. We'll see Nyjah hitting that rail too maybe later. Kickflip nose pick in Barcelona. So fluid, so stylish, but above all, so gnarly. And this defines an era. Sure, Midler went back and kickflipped into back lip for some contests, but at the time period, to backside lip slide through a kinked rail that's that long is insane. It's still insane today. I just can't believe it. And yeah, we're going to look at his really sorry part too. I think he was really killing it here. These no push lines, the flip tricks, and then flipping downstairs are just so powerful. Look at that tray flip, something with his back foot. Like that one too. They both look so different. Perfect nollie backside flip. Just so gnarly at the time period. That backside flip in Arizona is huge. Another fakie flip, but just a testament to how incredibly gnarly he is. I don't know what he's thinking on this line. This is after he got on Etnies. Maybe they had more pop in the sole of the shoe. Switch ollie into a pool. Can't believe it. He takes out this double set. Many others have skated it. I just love the way he styles down it and how fast he seems to be going. And the nollie that pretty much ended his career. He got back in Minefield, but the way he broke his leg there cut his part short and sorry. Wow. Pedro Barros. This guy is probably the gnarliest person on concrete. The dude is out of his mind. Let's look at his Free Dream. Freedom is one of the worst names for a company in the history. Free Dome. But look at the way he reverts at the last second. That was so incredibly gnarly after the switch wall ride. That pool is no joke. I don't know what's going on with the transition on it. It probably should not be skated this heavily. He pumps the corner like it's nothing. I remember Julian Stranger won on a similar pool through a corner. No one else is doing it like that. Blasted backside air. Look at the tweak on that frontside air. This is so incredible, Pedro. I don't know what's going through your mind when you're going that fast and that high. His style's off the charts. Little bit of street, Pedro. That was a gnarly backside nose grind. Look at him contort and tweak in the air. Look at how much height he can get on that Venice pool right there. So incredibly gnarly, Pedro. I love how powerful his push is. Got to use some street tricks. That fakie ollie was ridiculous. I wouldn't call him a style god ever. Maybe when he's airing out of pools. But the guy is just as gnarly as it gets. The coast-to-coast blunt slide to fakie, runs into the tree. We got to look at this still watching. Skating in front of Phelps before Phelps passed away. Can't be easy. That tail slide is fucking gnarly. I don't know how he came into that. He bends his knees to make the impact a little bit easier. And then this is a quarter pipe that should not be backside fived. Look at the nose pick. Look at how he pops in way past the vert and still stomps it. So sick. This is just an average day for Pedro. This is just one day of filming at Treasure Island. This is so insane. And of course, he backs up that back nose pick with the first time he lands this 5 on this insane quarter pipe. Not the cleanest, so he has to go back and do it again. I can't believe he's spinning on that quarter pipe. It's pretty big in person, but is it big enough to be spinning like you're on a vert ramp? I'm not sure, but it's absolutely certified gnar. Oh my God. The Felper, got to have him in there. There's Pedro in his own backyard. I don't care if it's his backyard. Oh, Grasso. I love Grasso. Look at the blast on that. I don't care if it's his own backyard. Everything in this contest is some of the gnarliest shit I've ever seen on transition. Look at him spin. Look at the height. He's not on wood. He's on concrete, ladies and gentlemen. Some rough Brazilian pool in his backyard. I cannot believe the layout on the Smith grind, the way he tweaked on the hip and still lands fast with enough speed to go into a grind. Oh my God, that is just about as gnarly as it gets. I don't know how you bail on that. I don't care if he's got a helmet and knee pads on. That is certified butthole puckering spinning above some gnarly pool coping. I just can't believe this guy. There's no one else like him. There's no one that skates quite as fast and as powerful as he does on transition. And to spin that transfer that should not be transferred. Certified gnar. I like his part in Propeller. I didn't think it was that great of a video. I mean, it's sick. Chima, of course. But look at that bunless. But Pedro really stood out to me, the way he's attacking transition. I don't know how you ollie to fakie at Washington Street like that. If you haven't been to Lincoln City, you need to go to Mildew Mecca, and you need to skate this park to appreciate some of these tricks. I cannot believe he got corked on that. That quarter pipe's no joke. Varial flip Indy or whatever that was. And this kick flip is the gnarliest part. Oh, my God. How do you hang on to that? Pedro has my butthole all the way up in my neckline right now. He has me puckered, the back-to-back 5s, padless on vert, and then check this one out. It looks like an overcrook or a nose grind tail grab. He didn't even touch his truck. He just bonks his wheel out. It was a nose blunt. That was certified gnar. This big ollie at the Jimi Hendrix High School in Seattle. Wow, that's do or die. And then, of course, Eugene, Oregon, gnarly park. I can't believe he grinded into that transfer. He takes it the other way, no slide to fakie. The cab back disaster is death-defying. And then the way he airs out of this into it, I don't know who else could skate that park like that. Insane. We're sticking with Pedro's, this time Pedro Delfino. I think the fact that his sister won't watch his parts proves how gnarly he is. Doesn't have the biggest bag of tricks, but how does his board not snap in half right here on this gap to lip slide? Everything Dro does is just some of the heaviest shit ever. That looked unreal. That looked like a video game. Looked like Skate 3. I can't believe it. That ollie is do or die like everything else he does. I don't know what's going on with his thought processes, but he's a step above everyone else. Huge 50-50 into the impromptu front 180. So rad. I don't know if he's had brain damage. Love how he cross-locks that and gaps all the way over. He's going so fast on all these tricks. The huge ollie in, I think that's Texas. The hill bomb after might be even gnarlier than the ollie in. I think he needs to go to a shrink, though, and see what's going on with him after he's done with his professional skateboarding career. One of the most sexy locksmith grinds, and it couldn't have been any gnarlier. Oh, my God, Pedro. I don't know what kind of weed he's smoking. If you've seen his YouTube channel, he just goes around the world and bombs hills. It should have a lot more than 15,000 views on some of these hills in Portland and Hawaii and other places. That gap to 50 at Pyramid, of course. The second gnarliest switch hill bomb ever. I don't know how he's avoiding all the potholes, cracks, manhole covers. Look at how fast he's going. He definitely skates loose trucks with the way he skates. That was insane. He only does one that's even gnarlier. His uncrossed part, I don't know what he's thinking alling into that, but he handles it with ease. That was so ridiculous. That's literally the definition of doing or dying. The gap to frontside invert at Ripon, the lip slide, but what's really gnarly is he stops his car by just how much energy and hype he has going. The 5-0 on the barrier into the crusty bank, and then I don't know what he's thinking here. It's like a story and a half tall, grabs it with ease, stomps it. That was so ridiculous. Huge lip slide to fakie. He's going so fast. Pedro is certified gnar. He doesn't need a big bag of tricks. Look at the boneless in that bank. Looks like no joke. I don't understand how he skates this spot like this. He takes it from the top in the same video part and slides into the fence. This is the third gnarliest switch hill bomb of all time, maybe second. It's hard to quantify it. Crazy looking switch flip. I've bombed this hill before and I got destroyed on it. I can't believe how fast he's going. There's so many cracks in that concrete. It's so blemished, and he just slides out of it like it's a normal day at work for him. I don't know what's pumping through his veins, but it's something different. It's something on that cardiac level. This 50-50, I can't believe it. Just ridiculous. Look how fast he's going by the time he comes off it, even in slow-mo, and still bombs the hill out. Pedro. And somehow if that 50 wasn't gnarly enough for you, this one might be the gnarliest 50-50 down a handrail ever. Please let me know if you can think of a gnarlier one. That is absolutely the definition of somebody who's too gnar, too cool for school. I can't believe it. The power slide on the way out. I love how he can jump off his board, slide on his ass, and stop himself against the fence. That was incredibly gnarly. I think the way he operated the fence was even gnarlier. And of course, if you have not seen him in this GX video, switch hill bombing, yeah, we got to put some Carlisle in there. I fucking love Jeff Carlisle. Guy rips. Wally to board slide, or Wally to wall ride, and this back nose blunt was so gnarly. I don't even know that guy's name, but he fucking rips. To backside flip into that's already enough, but I don't know how you're taking this hill. What you're not seeing in the footage is how perfectly he has to execute his line, switch stance, to get through some of the worst ground in the world. Another guy bombs this in this video. I think Gerwer capped it off in the yellow jacket sliding across the street in his part in an anti-hero video. But that might be the gnarliest thing that's ever happened on a skateboard. That isn't Bob on the mega ramp or something on a different level than this. That's just, I'm sorry, that's the gnarliest hill bomb and the gnarliest switch hill bomb ever. Andrew Reynolds, yes. I do like his style a lot. I love his big man pushing. Let's look at him in the end. Some of the greatest filming in skateboarding history. Caballero over a handrail. I don't know how you do that. Could be in a video today. The guy is so legendary. I like the way he pushes. I like the way he catches his flip tricks. There's a reason he's called the boss. The quick setup to the frontside flip after the kick flip there. So ridiculously gnarly. He can switch illusion flip, but he can also switch frontside flip like a god. Huge bush ollie. That was so rad. Way before Hollywood High was blown out, he's lip sliding it in a bucket hat. That was so sick, Andrew. Another huge Caballero. Perfect filming on that. I love how they're using a real film camera. The moving on the board while filming. He's down here in Florida, somewhere near his home turf. Kickflip melon. That was so rad. And then just basically falling off a building on this nollie back 180. Insanely gnarly, Andrew. He's pretty young in this. Perfect frontside flip, but everything he frontside flips is perfect. Down in Santa Monica. That was huge for the time period. Still huge now. He has the best nollie cabs on the planet. The way he contorts his front foot when he's spinning out of it. Blunt slide, kickflip out on a handrail. It's so groundbreaking and gnarly at the same time. Kickflips into that gap to rail. I think Costin kickflip back lipped it later and yeah, right. And then, of course, this frontside flip's one of the gnarliest ones ever. That stair set is no joke. He catches it so perfect. One of the few tricks that really does deserve 3 angles of filming. They crushed it in the end. I love Willie Santos's part in that video. And, of course, Heath and Jeremy Klein. Stay gold. I mean, this is pretty much what he retired on. The fakey frontside flip down Carlsbad, all blind. You have to make it over that ledge. Ridiculous. The way he operates it, too, it's just so sick. I love when Reynolds decides to do flip tricks. It's all he does these days, going fast on lines. But I cannot believe how well he goes into the stair set. Look how slow he's going, and he's got so much pop. The nollie inward heel was head high right there. He caught that so fucking well. It was so gnarly on that. Fakey tray flip down, I think 12. Insane. The nose slide big spin. I don't know how you're doing that with that big of a drop. He catches it somehow, too, and spins the last bit of it. It was so rad. The switch 180 up to a nose manual, insanely gnarly. He has some Manny skills. Half cab heel flip. Nollie frontside heel flip, just taking that stair set out. He owns that place. Another blind flip trick down Carlsbad, switchback heel. I think it's his spot. I think he owns it. He also owns this giant stair set at University of Arizona. Backside flip. Oh my God, that was huge. I think Mike Davis switched tray flip it. Only thing gnarlier on that stair set. Huge kick flip. I don't even know how many stairs that is. But then he goes back and does this in a line. Those beautiful looking nollie cabs. The guy is the personification of gnarly, balls to the wall, huge frontside flip. They never get old. He could frontside flip down a curb and I would still watch it these days. The way he catches it and spins it late, that's how you should perform a frontside flip down anything. Wallenberg, if you've been there, you already know. I don't know if he had a ramp for that or not, but that was so sick. The switch frontside flip in Atlanta, the way he smokes a cigarette after he can't believe he landed it, that was insanely gnarly down the 5 block. And maybe the biggest back 3 ever done, and definitely the highest popped backside heel flip down a fucking 5 block. Oh my God. Reynolds is just on a different level. Varial heel flip. Again, he looks like he popped waist high on that, caught it perfect. And the Davis gap, if you haven't seen this thing in person, you haven't seen what a real gap looks like. Jocelyn did tray flip it. Jocelyn will be on the gnarly list. He will be in one of these. Of course, Reynolds, and this is skateboard. I think this is his prime when he started getting sober. He was just really killing it. The sport coat frontside flip down the love gap. I love the way he catches his fakey frontside flips. Wow, it was so rad. Huge switch ollie up. Cherry Park or whatever it's called in Long Beach. But this switch tray flip over the big trash can, so legitimate. That was so rad. Reynolds just has his absolute own style. He does have the best fakey frontside flips in the game. This filming from up above really seals the deal. Thank you, John Miner. You are a legendary filmer. That looks so gnarly. Oh, my God. Little handrail gnarliness from him. Half cab crooks is no joke on any handrail. He takes it down Beverly Hills. The Jeff Raleigh spot, he just ollies the whole damn thing. So incredibly gnarly. And indelible kickflip shifty frontside. Maybe the sickest one ever frontside. That was so rad. Nollie cab. It's just undeniable how good Andrew is. He could easily be on a style list, but I think his gnar, and a lot of these other guys have a lot of style, but his gnar is just so much higher than his style that we have to put him on the gnar list. Caballerial, that ad is indelible in my mind, and of course this frontside flip, I think it's 15 or 16. He would have won Buster Bale, and this was before they had that contest, several years before. Look at the catch, how he lands a little bit crooked, still rolls it out. I just love watching Reynolds skate, one of the gnarly. We got to talk about Nyjah. This is Need That part. We're only going to watch one part from Nyjah. He is maybe the gnarliest skateboarder in the world, especially on handrails. But he's like that kooky friend you have that you can only hang out with in short spurts. I can only watch one of his parts before I'm over his shitty short shorts, his gear, his style. Someone asked me to put him on the style list. No, but this nollie board slide is no joke. That's do or die right there. I think he does have a signature style, and it's an interesting style. He definitely lands things clean. That is the gnarliest front feeble ever. I don't know how he rolls it out. Look how much speed he has by the time he gets to the bottom. Doing these tricks in shorts is ridiculous. That is the biggest nose grind ever. I can't believe that. Why didn't that end the part? The crooked grind, you should never take this rail that long and then pop out the other side. Oh, my God, Jah. Huge feeble grind. I mean, everyone knows Nyjah. Backsmith 180 on a handrail, insane. Switch heel flip, switch 50 on a handrail. He's got a lot of tricks no one else can do. The way he sits in that backside over crook and 180s out. He hits the Jerry spot. He got towed in. Big spin board slide. It was sick. But I just can't get over the fact that this kid has been this good this long. He's always been good since he was 11 years old. I do like his flip tricks on flat in this line, and then this trick he takes is ridiculous. I don't think I've ever seen this fakey Suski on a handrail since or before. And, of course, that big spin front board fakey, ridiculous. I think that might be at the El Toro school. I don't know for sure. But Nyjah will never be on my style list. Yes, he crooked grinded the rail that Dylan 50-50'd in his gravest part. Weird celebration thereafter, but I'd be stoked too. Nollie back heel, back lip on a handrail to fakie. One of the ugliest switch pushes that's ever happened, and then he corrects himself and does a beautiful switch frontside flip over that rail. Certified gnar. I just don't know how it gets any gnarlier than that. Ridiculous rail to overcrook, and it was not a nose grind. It was an overcrook. You can argue me all you want. Switch nose blunt on a gap to handrail. This is undeniable talent. The nollie 180 into that trick is just so ridiculous for a handrail. The nollie backside overcrook, not nose grind, overcrook. Kickflip front feeble. This is undeniable. Again, I can only handle him in short spurts. Kickflip back nose blunt. One of the gnarliest to ever do it, possibly the gnarliest guy out. Bob Burnquist may be the only person in history that's gnarlier. Nollie heel, back tail to fakie on clipper. That's no joke. The pink sweatshirt is atrocious. And then that rail should not be grinded by a skateboard. That's a snowboard handrail. He takes it with ease. Probably the biggest nollie crook on a handrail in history. And then, of course, he has to cab back lip it to fakie. I don't know what's going through his mind when he skates these things. Dude is on his own level. He's pushing against himself. Incredibly gnarly nollie front crook or front feeble. Malto did backside overcrook that and hit it in the pretty sweet intro. But nollie front feeble is just so gnarly. Of course, we'll end with this rail. I don't know how he's operating that. I don't know how you take it over that top there and still drop in the other side. He makes it look easy, but I need some eye bleach. I cannot watch Nyjah for too long before it all just seems lame. Tiago Lemos, this is somebody that's skating gnarly on a different level. He doesn't need to hit big rails or big stair sets. Just the way he approaches everything, how much pop he has, how fast he skates. Look at that switchback Smith in San Francisco. So rad. The waist-high nollie tail slide to fakie. And then, yes, he does have the best switchback tails on planet Earth. I think in compiling some of these videos, I've realized how much appreciation I have for Primitive. That crooked grind's insane. I am a P-Rod fan, despite hating on him. I hate on him because I think he is somebody that you can't hate on, so that's why I hate on his style sometimes. But I think Primitive's team is so good they get slept on. I think the problem they have is their art direction, and there's no feeling of legitimacy or authentic nature in their team and their designs. Maybe that's P-Rod's fault. I'm not sure. Nollie shove it over a bump to bar, insane. The way that nollie frontside heel flip goes. But I do have a big soft spot for the Primitive team. This isn't my favorite type of skating, although I do appreciate it. I'm more of a Northern California skater. I like transition and street. Grant Taylor, if you will. He's probably the personification of my favorite type of skating gnarly. That switchback tail just doesn't get any gnarlier than that. Tiago deserves to be on Primitive. He deserves to get paid. This nollie 180 up, that was gnarly on its own. The switch backside big spin, ridiculous. Any switchback tail on a handrail deserves to be in a gnarly video. And then the way he operates this trick, you don't see it often, a crazy spot. And the way he 180s in the hard way, he has to pop up and over. The switch varial flip over the bench, down the 3 block. That fakie hard flip, it was just personification of gnarly. The nollie 180 crooks on a huge ledge. There's this Jamie Foy impression, but Tiago does it differently. I love seeing him flip down big stuff. He doesn't do it often, so when you do see it, you have to appreciate it. That switch tail side, I do not know what he's thinking. That's titty high. The guy's ridiculous. To switch backside heel flip over that, and then the way he switch flip back nose blunts here, he flips in the triangle there. He flips kind of late. The perfect catch on it. He's just so good. He's a lot like Nyjah, where there's no one on his level, so he's just performing these maneuvers against himself. He's just continually outdoing himself. We got to look at his intervals. There's this Justin Eldridge impression, putting his finger back in. Switchback overcook on a fucking handrail. Brooklyn Banks, the switch backside flip over that rail down the stairs. So ridiculous. He's probably the biggest workhorse in skateboarding. I can't believe how many parts he's dropped just in the last 5 years. To switch front, shove it into Pier 7 on the high side. Getting his Darren Harper on here at Pulaski. Nollie back tail fakie. Insanely tall. The switch heel flip goes forever. He catches it perfect. I do love his style too, but I think he's on the gnarly side rather than his style. Oakland Courthouse ledge is no joke. I don't know who else has gone nollie into it. Maybe nobody, but nollie crooks on that is ridiculous. If you've been there, you can't believe anyone skates that. Cairo's nollie heel down that is legendary. And then switch flip back lip. I think Casey Rigney was the first person to do it on a handrail. That was so gnarly to do it at Brooklyn Banks. Switch crooks here is no joke. Tiago is only operating against himself. He's not in any sort of competition with anybody. No one can skate like him. No one can skate these spots. Look at this switch front blunt. Obviously, the gnarliest one ever that's not down a handrail, but it's probably gnarlier than anyone on a handrail you could even think of. I can't believe that. The way he popped out was so sick. Showing up BA, switchback tail here at UCI. That ledge, that hubba is just so tall. I can't believe he does it. The cuffed up pants. And then, of course, Street League's trick of the year. I think I would have gone with Felipe Mota, but a switchback nose blunt. He's the only person on the planet that could do that trick on that. Ishad's not even doing that. That was incredibly gnarly. We're ending this whole video with Pat Duffy. So I think his gnarliest part is questionable, which we'll get to, but his virtual reality part is also gnarly. This is 1993. Yes, he just tried to tray flip nose blunt a fucking hubba in 1993. Nose blunt all the way down it through the kink. The 5-0 to switch crooks. These tricks are just insane for any ledge. He's taking them downstairs. If you know anything about the time period, no one was getting this gnarly. This set the bar so high for what skating could be on Gnar. Kickflip front nose slide down a handrail. He back 180 nose grinds it. And of course he does the tray flip lip slide. That's the first one I can recall in the history of skating on a legitimate handrail. That was so rad, Pat. The cab back tail to fakie on a tiny hubba, but it has to start somewhere. Back tail shove on a handrail. Incredible. I saw him once after that nose slide was huge. It doesn't get any gnarlier. Saw him after a Dew Tour contest in San Francisco walking down the street, and he saw me with a skateboard and put his hat down and tried to look like he wasn't Pat Duffy. I thought that was the most stylish thing this gnarler could ever do. Kick flipping into hubba. Incredible. Look at this rail. This could be in a video part today. Same trick through that kink. His board does not snap when he goes through the kink. It was so gnarly. The Nodis rail, 180 nose grind. Jacob Rosenberg or Mike Ternowski, I'm not sure who filmed this one, maybe both of them, but using the double angles in 1993, crucial for us looking back on it now to appreciate the 32 millimeter wheels and the 180 nose grind on a legitimate handrail. That was so incredible. It could be in a video today. Of course, his part incredible. This is the gnarliest skating that came out of nowhere. He picked up where Frankie Hill left off and took it to a whole new level. The clinic he puts on this rail, look how dipped the Smith grind is, and then to backsmith a handrail that big now is gnarly. To do it at this time period just doesn't make any sense. Pat came out of nowhere listening to Primus, the back three down the double set at EMB. He's just incredibly gifted. Look at how gnarly the kink is on this handrail. I think that's SF City College. Never been there, but I've heard about it. And for some reason, he thinks it's okay to Smith grind through this rail, through the kink. And if that wasn't enough for you, he backsmiths it. This is 1992, a year before that virtual reality part. And I think this is where he was at his apex. The way he dipped it, the way he caught it, it left his feet for a second. Completely legitimate caballero down a stair set. People still skate today. I think Tom Penny destroyed that set. The 180 nose grind to fakie on hubba. Such a tall ledge to be skating at a time period where people were not popping like this. Yes, maybe Sean Sheffy and Nodis were popping this high, but they weren't getting this insane. The way he 180s out on that one, that was so goddamn ridiculous. This is one of the gnarliest 50-50s ever. I believe they took the rail out at this spot. The way he locks into it, stands all the way up, and then pops into the bank. He lands so perfect on it. He could be in a Style God video, but he's just the personification. He's maybe the gnarliest handrail skater of all time. Look at the 50-50. He's about 10 stairs longer than anybody else at the time period. 10 stairs longer than anybody for the next 10 years easily until a Heath shows up, or maybe Jamie Thomas. But the impromptu slappy might be the gnarliest thing. He's setting records, and then he slappy grinds the curb after it. And of course this, you probably saw the storied skateboarding talking about this 50-50. It's just jaw-dropping how good the guy is. I can't believe how well he's balancing. He's completely on the forefront with all of these tricks in this video part. The style on it, the small wheels locking a circle rail, rolling out on the wood. It just does not get any gnarlier than that. He is the original Duff man before Corey Duffel existed, and Corey Duffel will be on this list. I love me some Duffel. I am from Duffel Land in Walnut Creek area, and I have a huge soft spot for Mr. Duffel. He's also one of the gnarliest. Big back 180 when everybody else was getting tech on those stairs, down the double set, and the backlip in the rain on a handrail. People still skate this rail today. I can't remember exactly where it is in Northern California, but to do anything in the rain is insane. To 1992 backlip a handrail is even more insane, and then to do it in the rain, that's why there's only one Pat Duffy on this planet. Look at how good he does it. For the time period, even for today, to backlip a handrail in the rain, it just doesn't get any gnarlier. I love the shirt tucked into his pants there. I love the Primus shirt he's wearing. Les Claypool shreds on bass. That's all we have for today. We're going to get back to this most stylish skaters next episode. As I said, I'm a little busy with my house and my daughter and the shitty weather keeping me from skating more than I wanted to. But I'm going to continue working on this. I want to put out about one a week. And as we talked at the beginning, we have the yin-yang, we have the style, we have the gnar, and there are skaters that go down that curly line in the middle. Personally, I'm thinking people like Grant Taylor has some of the best style in the world and is one of the gnarliest to ever do it. Obviously, Heath. We're going to maybe put these guys in both videos. They're just so good. There's so much to be said. And looking at from different angles of Gnarly, you can look at tricks, the same tricks in a different way. And then when you go to style, you can look at them in a completely different way. Anyway, I'm a little tired. I'm chugging all this coffee. I got my Chris Roberts drink here to try to keep me motivated. But that's it. We'll be back with style. Have a good night.